Sorry, chat. Let me just share my screen on Discord and we'll get it going. Okay. Good morning, everybody. My bad, a little late today, but am I on? Cool. All right, all right, so we have well, we had no news today, right? Like there's no, well, yeah, we had no folders today, just like some orange ones maybe. At like 8:30 earlier. Turn the music off. Yeah, we had some news at like 8:30 earlier, and then that was pretty much it. I think for the rest of the day, it's just like some more yellow folders happening. 9:15, 10:30, 10:35, and whatnot. And then as we continue to go this week, I think by Friday we have some FOMC member Daly speaks, FOMC member Barkin speaks, but I don't know, it's nothing too crazy, right? I think next week as well you have like maybe one or two core retail sales, and then I think that's it. So pretty like dry folder month for April. I think NFP is the end of the week, right? Or am I tripping? Is NFP the end of the week or end of the month? Or not NFP, FOMC? Yeah, FOMC is 29th on that Wednesday, so in 2 weeks you have FOMC. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the month. Let's see where price is today. I think it's in the range still. Yeah, so nothing has been significant about gold here. Let's see, Tuesday was 2 days ago, and then Wednesday was yesterday. Yesterday we had this like push up on gold, and then we had this retracement to end the day off. Yeah, you had that retracement to end the day off, and then I think we hopped off. When did we hop off yesterday? I don't remember hopping off when it was here. Around here, I guess, when it came back up again. So yeah, nothing too significant yesterday. Just kind of in the range, still in the same ranges. I think I don't even need a markup, to be honest. It's the same exact ranges here. Let's see, daily close like weak bearish yesterday, holding into these ranges, so that's good. Holding that zone there, which means that there's a possibility that you can probably pop up into these ranges if you continue to hold 47.60. Otherwise, as you start breaking back below into the ranges, like below here, then you'll just end up faking out and then making your way down towards this bottom of the range down here, right? Question is, like, is it gonna come down from where? From here? There was a previous area where it came down similar to here. I'm just looking at this candle right here. But the difference between this candle and this candle was that this one was already coming down. And you can probably say this one was already coming down here too. And then when it retraced from somewhere similar, but not exactly the same area. So it might be a stretch here. But then you got a top wick up here, which is equivalent to this high. And then you were able to retrace this entire move. But there might be a stretch because it's not exactly identical, right? But could be possibility. If you start making your way below like 47.31, I'll probably take that high more seriously, or I'll take it as like, oh wow, maybe you could actually retrace, right? But I need to see signs of it first. So until you actually start breaking into these ranges below here, right? That's a daily time frame as well. So wait, how much was this daily? This one was 4.7 thousand pips, 4.7k pips. All right, what zone was that on a daily? That was around 47.43, which is below here. So here's what we're gonna do. We can just mark this up yet same resistance as yesterday, 48.92, because if you were to continue up, that'll be the next target, right? So we'll get that out of the way. Yeah, we'll get that out of the way. And then that's the daily area, right? 47.43. Okay. Like one thing I do like about this on the I guess the small time frame 30 and 1 is this right here. Like you've had an initial rejection. I just kind of wish that on Tuesday you came up to tap into 90, right? Like you can just clear that range up because that's the range fill. Otherwise, like there's still kind of something missing here, right? If you like invert your charts here, it might be easier to look at from this perspective, but this is like the middle of nowhere where it rejected here, 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 right? It didn't come down to completely fill the ranges. It makes sense here, but like when it comes this close, it's like why? Like usually before you like start to turn in direction, you usually get something like this. Right, you'll fill the range first, and then like after filling the range, you start to like kind of hover, start to range a little bit, right? And then all of a sudden you start to make structure, and then you start to retrace. Like that's usually how it reverses, but it's very rare where price is just kind of like reverses without creating structure. And there is like a bit of structure here, like you can see like higher lows starting to form, but again, like tap the middle of nowhere, right? Like that was the same exact analysis that we had on that 30-hour drawdown trade that week. It's like very equivalent to that. So could you complete the area, right? Like 48.92. That's like your next resistance. So yeah, like I do like this in terms of it coming down, but the only issue is like because you're making lower highs, right? Like it's very early still, but it's still creating like those lower highs. So it's good for structure. Like it's slowly starting to turn, but I think the issue is that you're missing something here. 48.92. Now, unless you come up today like this, right? Unless you come up today like this, right? And after coming up, you like start to come back into the ranges. Okay, cool. At that point, could you get continuation? Right? High chance you could, right? As you start to break below here, you can start looking for you can start hunting for ideas to come down and fill the ranges. So that'd be nice. But will it make its way down there is the question. Okay, so yeah, 48.92, pretty important zone. Pretty important zone. And what else do we got? Could be something here too. Is this the daily zone? That was, yeah, similar to that area. 47.53. This is 6,000 pips to go, and then to come up 7,000 pips. So it's a pretty far range from where you are. But there's nothing much in the minute we can really do today. Looking at the minute, it's just like it's a very tight range. Same with the 5. I think the 30 and the 1 is when like is where you want to keep your focus at due to just the structure you have there. Do you have any leg candles that I'm missing? 4-hour leg candle still here, right? So I forgot about that from yesterday. That's still there at 48.37, right? You got body reactions like maybe 3 times off of that area. So assuming you come back up to re-break into that range there, that should be able to give you a wick fill, a leg candle fill, right? Which will then be up towards this wick, right? And hopefully once you fill that wick, you can just pop up the rest of the range to drive up. And then that will be cleared. That 48.92 zone will be cleared. Right, so leg candle is possible. How far are you away here? This is 200 pips away. Yeah, so you want to see it break these highs, and you want to see it like hold 48.37 like above it, Like you want to see it kind of do this and then hold, right? It can even come down for a bottom wick, but as it comes back up to re-break, you can look for the continuations after that. Obviously it needs some volume here, right? But yeah, I think same kind of idea from yesterday. The leg candle fill on the 4 at 48.37, and then I think I'll leave the way it is for now. And as the session goes on, we might get some more ideas going on. All right. Yeah, let me just copy and paste these zones to MT5, and then we'll come back and look to see what else we can do today. But it looks like we're very limited right now due to the volume again. 48.92 is up here. $48.37 is the leg candle fill. 40.38 is put there. All right. Yeah, that's basically it. Maybe the minute will pick up throughout the session. But it looks like wherever you go in the minute, it's just ranges, right? Like sometimes we'll look at the minute based on the conditions. Usually we would, but it's like wherever you go, it's like you go down, you range, you go up, you range, you know, you range, you range, you range, you range. I get that this is one whole range, but like that would usually be okay, right? Because this range here is like 300 pips, 300 pip range, but it's like wherever you go, it's a range. It's like you move a little bit, range, move a little bit, range. It's not like consistent movement, consistent flow. So that's why you see on the 5, right? You start to see those ranges at the 5 and the 30 as well. Same thing. Because this entire range right here is your 300 pip range. Right? Very slow. But yeah, like I'll say like if we do get the buys today, if you do get the buys up towards 48.92, like that's more so of a top wick for now, right? Because then we gotta figure out after 48.92, we gotta see if price actually holds that zone or rejects it to correct this entire move from the last 2 weeks, right? That's still the main idea. The main idea is that like you're still very slow on the way up here, so you can still get a 1-2 pop, right? So could this be the final stage of liquidity? Could this be the final stage of that range fill before you start to correct it, right? But 48.92 is gonna be pretty important. So we can get ideas going up towards that zone. That'd be sweet. And then after that, I don't know, the session could take us anywhere. You can literally tap into 48.92 and then start breaking above these areas and then start mirroring that traffic, right? Start making it way further towards 5,000. And then after 5,000, you got 5,100, and then 5,200, and above there you have like 5,400, right? But we don't know yet. We don't know if it's even gonna break out of this range here. We don't know if it's gonna break 48.92, right? So like you don't really want to be in a situation where you're trying to figure out where it's gonna go from here. You want to just like kind of wait for price to move, show you the volume, show you direction, and then that's when you're like more so directional, because right now you're just in the range slash like liquidity cycle, like the same cycle you've had the last 2 weeks. All right, 2 weeks, maybe almost 3 weeks now, since like maybe end of March. I can't breathe today, man. Don, I am honest. I have only one trade. If that fail, my account will be gone. I'm not gonna lie, man. Why would you put yourself in that situation? Why is it one? Like, are you gonna fund it? Is that why? If you fail it, then you're below the threshold, or like you're on a personal, and you're going balls deep into the trade, and you're hoping that it'll flip the account around. Better be the funded answer. Yo, you drew it to 9 months. Fuck you. You put the grunk emote. All right, man. New emote? For realsies? C-Trad, I've never used them. I'm not too sure. I've only used MetaTrader and yeah, MetaTrader. W Jordy. Trademaxxing. Fuck, I should have put that. I'm gonna put that as a thing, actually. Chad, you guys get any trades this week? Like, holy. I know, like, we didn't get a trade 2 weeks ago, but conditions were better in this when we didn't get a trade 2 weeks ago. If you guys are enjoying the stream, then hit the like button. Sub to the channel. On our way to 125,000. We're like near, maybe like 1 more month. 125. 125. 19 likes though, chat. What's the longest you wait for a trade? I think we waited like 2 weeks before, 2.5 weeks almost. But that was a couple years ago. I think recently the longest we waited was like a week and a half, right? A week and a half. I think, or maybe 13 days, 12 days. Yeah, sometimes it's long like that, but what could we really do, right? Like, I'm pretty sure in the past I would have been like more so like trying to get something out of this range. Like trying to force a trade out of it. And it could pay off. Like you could still win those like forced trades, right? But then I think like long term that's where it kind of screws you over. But I think there's a difference though between like price actually slowing down and what price is doing, because it's like it's not even moving. Like even if it were to slow down, like compared to a couple like probably 3 weeks ago, a month ago, when it was like moving thousands of pips per session, like it'll still move. Like you'll still see movement. It might not be a 1,000 pip 15-minute candle, but it might be a 200 a 300 pip 15-minute candle or 200 pip 15-minute candle, right? You'll still get like movements on the small time frame, because I can go back to the sim, right? When I was on the sim, I was like looking at the previous years, and you still get the same, like, look, you'll still get this type of spike, let's say, right? In this case, this is like 1.8 thousand pips. 2 3 years ago, this would have been like maybe 75 pips, but it's still the same spike that you're looking for. It still wipes out this range within a 1-2 pop correction, right? Like you still get the same movement. So pips is irrelevant, right? It's just that you're not even moving right now. Like if you were to get this day, then that would be a lot better, right? Or like even this, like something. But like the way you've been moving the last 2 weeks has just been like very slow. All right, it hasn't been like consistent or anything. It's like kind of similar to the beginning of the year, January. We're also still fresh into quarter two. Quarter two just started like 16 days ago, so we still got a lot of time. You haven't traded this week? No, not this week yet. Our last show was Friday, so it's been like 4 days. 6 month candle. Uh, 1 2 3 4 5 6 in 2 months. I don't think so. I think you'll stay within the ranges. Cause I think even if you were to come down here, it wouldn't just come down. Like you're not gonna see something like this. Oh, maybe you might, but like usually what would occur is you'll get like, even if you were to come down, you'll feel the wick, and then you start to struggle a little bit, right? Because then the small time frame will be stuck within this range, right? So on the small time frame, what you might see is you might see like it kind of make its way down. Right, this is a smaller time frame, so I'm gonna draw on yellow so you don't get confused. And then once you feel the wick, it can't just like create some structure, right? Create highs, and then once you actually create structure, that's when you usually drop, right? Once you have enough structure and once you have like liquidity, right? All of that. But like the first pop is like that. Like if you were to pop down, that would be like that volume coming in on the monthly, right? It'll be the wick fill, but then you'll still have struggle zones, and then you likely would hold that range for a little bit, stay in the range for a little bit, and then like after that create liquidity, and then from there it might not even come back down again. It might even come up, right? It might not even come down for a bottom wick again, but usually you'll range first. So like the next step after that would just be range after that drive, because this would be quite a bit too. I think this would be like 7,000 bips around there. It's a baddie. Gold for sure. I'm pretty sure if I like focus on, if I just go back to trading a Forex pair and just focus on like a pair, you can master it too. I've just been trading gold for so long now, so it's like there's like no point of like switching it. It's just the pair for me. I think trading gold is harder, to be honest. What's up, Eddie? Uh, I wouldn't say it's harder, no, because like I wouldn't say any pair is like harder or easier. It's just like what you spend your most time on, you know? Like you could trade XAUUSD, you could trade US30. Like if you just focus on one pair, you will find like all the in and outs about it. You will understand like the sessions, like the market the market cycles, right, for that pair. You understand, like, you know, during this time of the year it might move a certain way, during this time of the year, during quarter four it might speed up, quarter one it might slow down. Like every pair has like its little nuances, right? And like yeah, if you figure out the in and outs about it, you'll have like a separate playbook for that play too. But like you just gotta spend time on it. But there's no such thing as harder or easier. Because why would you say gold's harder? Because maybe it moves a lot. Pips are irrelevant to like trading, right? It's like it doesn't matter how big the pips are. You just adjust your lot size and there you go, boom, right? You'll be trading the same lots and percentage risk as you would be trading USD CAD, right? Gold might have a 500 pip stop loss, you know. USD CAD might have 100 pip stop loss, right? But it's like more volatility doesn't mean your risk changes. It's the same thing. I used to trade GJ. GJ was good. But I think if I were to go back to another pair right now, it would be maybe US30. Small account. For a year. We've been trading this for a year now. I love how when we were popping 30 lots, everyone was like, "What the fuck? This guy popping 30 lots?" And then 1K account, everyone was like, "It's a small account." Like, why can't you guys just look at an account as an account, big or small? I don't get it. Like, is like your trading strategy is supposed to be different when you have a bigger account versus a small account? No, you're taking the exact same trades. You would like to think probably though, like on a small account, I should be taking like double the amount of trades to grow the account. What's the logic behind that? Um, what do you think helped you learn your trading strategy? Size is relative. True. That's why I don't see the point of fundeds. What what helped? Just experience. Just trading every day. Trading through all the ups, trading through all the downs, like no matter what, just trade through it. Don't take like breaks. You have to adjust though, right? Like you have to adjust and adapt. But yeah, just experience. You gain experience through having an account or not having an account, just by showing up, staying through market cycles, just years and years of experience under your belt. Like some people can only trade like, and I know it's because this is what I went through, right? Like it gets to a point eventually where you get consistent, but it only lasts like 3 months, right? And then conditions change. You might not realize conditions change, but you're still applying the same, you're kind of applying the same plays you were applying when you were trading the previous session that you crushed. And all of a sudden conditions change, boom. And then since you don't have that quarter 2, quarter 3 experience under your belt, you might only have quarter 1 under your belt, right? Things start to change a little bit, and then you kind of just gotta go through it. You kind of gotta go through those quarters. You could come out on top still, right? But if you don't, then you come out of those quarters learning something new, and then the next year after that, now you have quarter 1 and quarter 2 under your belt. Now you know how to adjust for quarter 2, and then each year as you go and you continue to trade, you just master the quarter, like better than the previous year. I wouldn't say master because you don't master, but you improve the quarter compared to the previous year, and then you just kind of keep going. And then year by year goes, like as the years go on, you just kind of have a bunch of experience, right? You'll be able to tell which plays are valid for this quarter, what part of a cycle we're in. So you want to take these trades, because if you don't take these trades and you take the other trades, it might cook your mind for the next quarter. Like you start to develop a bunch of nuances for yourself too. So everyone just eventually gets creates their own playbook, creates their own plays, and yeah, it's just experience. Like you just kind of pick things up through time. But you pick things up every day usually though. But that doesn't mean like you apply it every day, right? Like you might pick up things you might be looking at for a couple months. Like we looked at the leg candle for a couple months, and then by like the 9th month or something, 8th or 9th month, and we started taking the leg candle play. So it's just experiences. There's really no rush. That's all that trading is, just experience. Just learning like the in and outs about yourself too, right? Like what triggers what. So you won't take X plays because I might trigger this later on. But you gotta be like open to yourself like that. Man, Chat, you guys think we'll be in this range all day today? 290 pip range. But if 8 minutes to NYC open, so that is like your news today basically. You can treat that as your news folder at 9:30, because that's the only thing you have. Well, you have this, but 9:30 is next, and then just like that, the session will go by. And we'll see if we have volume. This is definitely not moving though. Look, since what time is this? This was since maybe the minute. This was since 6:58. So since 6:58, you've moved 60 pip range. This is like 2019 vibes. Holy! If you sit in this range the entire day, that's definitely 2019. Because I think 2019 you sat in like a 60 pip range for an entire month. Very unlikely though for that to happen this month. But I remember it was like really dry, and then December 2019 picked up, and then you had COVID, and then that just kind of took things off. I'm gonna grab my coffee though. Yo, Don, how do you react when your stop loss is hit early, but your setup later plays after a hit? Do you get tempted to go again? No, because we put our stop loss so wide that like the market can't even But no, I don't. I usually if my stops get hit, that's it. That's my day usually. That is my day until the next day. I usually don't reattempt it. No, I haven't traded options. No options. I've just traded this. You still have that daily leg candle too. Down here below into these ranges. 46.92 to like 46.33. You still have that. But we'll find out if it breaks below 47.54. below that range there. All right, man. Dog. I'm gonna look like the CEO in the video, bro. Damn, man. Fuck. That's actually not bad though. How old would this be? This is like in Asian years, this would probably be 51. 51, 52. In Asian years. Yeah, that's equivalent. 51, 52. Do I know any 50-year-olds? Of course I do, but this is not 50. This is like high 50s, early 60s. This might be like 59, 61. This is 61. Nah, but he looks young here. Yeah, this is 55, 56, something like that, in the 50s. Wait, you're actually Asian? Actually? Account gonna be 4,000. 2 years? Oh no. I don't stress. I never stress. Me and stress don't get together. We don't get along. We're like oil and water. They don't mix. It doesn't connect. You didn't think I was Asian. So what'd you think I was? Damn, bro. Yo, at this point, you gotta just shave it off, though. Like, just let me know, man. Because at this point, you gotta let it go. You guys know that meme that, you guys know that Gucci bag that's like tied and twisted and held on behind that dude's back? If it gets to that point, just let me know. Because you just shave it off, man. What's the problem being like this? Nothing. Nothing. But I just rather shave it off. I just rather be completely bald. But yeah, I'd rather just be completely bald. But I don't have a beard, so it might be GG's. Bald with no beard, you at a disadvantage. It depends. Can you put a buzz cut on me? Here, put a buzz cut on me. Let me know. Make one with the buzz cut. NY open, we moving. Let's go. This is still 50 pips, to be honest. Let's see. NYC open. What's it gonna do? What's it gonna do? What's it gonna do to you? But I don't even look like me though. I'm short. Damn, man, I didn't know you're short. Everybody, Braz is short. Is it good to look for sell ideas between 40.81 and 47.80? You said 40.81? 40? You mean 47.81, or what you mean? 40.81 to 47.80. Yeah, I think for me it comes down to, before I start looking for short, it just comes down to the structure. Because I believe we're missing something here still before making our way down. It doesn't have to be there though. The idea is just like structure next, right? So think of it as like drive, range, liquidity. Like right now you're in the range / liquidity. So I do want to see structure. If you can just come up towards here and then start shifting below, eventually below like 57.54. For me, it could be ideas below there, could be sells to continue down below here. Right? Yeah. I think earlier I mentioned too, the buys, right, above the leg candle fill. It's still doable. I do want to see structure like form here though. I want to see something here, like some structure, right? Something to kind of break out first before we actually start moving. But yeah, like for the overall idea, like the general idea, like if you can just come up to create some highs, right? Even if it's not up above like 48.92, even if it's here, it's fine. But something just to like move us and break us out of this range, and then after that we'll figure out if it's gonna be a faker or not, and then we'll start looking for more continuations. Because like any highs you make could lead to a much more directional move, right? Compared to if you don't have highs and you kind of just like start trickling down here, this can also be a higher low to drive up, right, on the move down. So like before I decide like whether we're gonna get shorts today or buys today, I just want to see where it goes first, and then it'll give me like a better it'll give me like better ideas. Because right now all I have is a leg candle fill idea. But even that, right? We want to see how it comes up towards 38. We want to see if there's like volume. We want to see if there's like structure and all of that, right? So that would really help. There could also be wick entry sell ideas at 48.92 if you come up towards 92. Possibility. But that's if you come up from here, right? If this is the low that it just made and that's where you come up from, all the way up towards these areas could be wick entry sells. But if we start seeing like structure up, then it's gonna be a little more tough to take wick entry sells there, because then you can just kind of create structure to continue up, right? So everything like it not really like the zone matters. Like I think before in the past, like I think that habit from like the old playbooks where it was like, oh, if you break above this zone with a buy, break below this zone with a sell. But then it's like how we're gonna get towards that zone is gonna be important as well, right? How you're gonna get to 48.92, how you're gonna get to like 47.54. Because then that matters more than actually closing above or below. What's up, Jay? Thank you, Burnt. W Burnt. Thank you, thank you, thank you. How tall are you, Don? 4'11". Yeah, man, I'm not getting a buzz cut. Yeah, man. You know, Benzo. All good, man. Thank you. That's all I need to know. That's all I need to know. I'm gonna get some water. Buzz cut or no? Show the blonde one? But I don't want the blonde one, bro. Bro, I look like I came straight from Vietnam. Hey, no signals, no signals. Do not send no signals in the chat. Thank you. Thank you. Please refrain from sending signals respectfully. I hope your trade plays out, but this ain't no signal channel. This is Watch Don, and if Don takes a trade, you give a comment. No signals here. It's dropping. Let's see, man. This thing is flipping. Can it come? Pause. Hey, yo, pause. Can it come down? 4806.01. Can we get a push? Something. Hey, simulation this Saturday. Alright, bro, you make me look like Scottie Pippen. You know, low key. Oh, I mean Dennis Rodman. I'm tripping. Dennis Rodman. Yeah, yeah. Yo, put a beard on me, Pencil. Put a put a light beard. I didn't put like a huge beard. Like some. Yeah, give me a light one, and then give me like a. Yeah. Which hair though? Just keep the buzz cut. Wait, what? Are you using ChatGPT? What are you even using? Oh, using Grok. Jay loves Grok. Hey, you're getting pushed here, guys. Could this be volume? So like we're still really far away from ideas, but you know, the earlier the volume, the better. I think yesterday volume came in at 10:30, like really late. Today it looks like this might be the first set of volume if this continues pushing at 9:45, 9:48. So that's not bad. Early. I would prefer 8:30, but or maybe you already moved to 8:30. No, that was during. This was during Asian. I wonder if we can also get wick entry buys. I think we had wick entry buy ideas yesterday, right? I think it's just a matter or ideas yesterday. So this is the first initial pop down. I wonder if we can get let's see. What could we get? 47.88 won't be too bad. And then after that, I think yesterday we had 47.70, the no bond wick zone right here on the 4 and on the 1. But there's also no bond wick zone right here. So if the first move today is the push down, meaning that like higher chance it could lead to a fake out. Could we get a wick entry buy at 47.87? Right, 240 pips away, so still kind of far, but that won't be too bad if this is the first initial pop. And then after that becomes 47.87. After that becomes 47.70. That won't be bad. Let's see if it even gets down there though, right? We don't even know if it's gonna come down there yet. But if it does come down there, you also want to see the way it comes down too, like how strong of a push you get on the way down. That's also gonna be very important. You missed your M3? Not really. Like I think I missed the car. Like I love the car, but I wouldn't say I miss it. Like okay, I miss it, but I wouldn't get it again. I feel like it's kind of like past my time. Like I think some things you kind of just grow out of, you know. Like I'm glad I got it during my time at a certain age, but I don't know. I wouldn't get it again. But I think of all the cars, I think that's like part of my favorite car I ever got, the M4. I don't want to reveal my current cars due to security reasons. So you guys don't see me posting my cars or anything. Yes, I'm following me. Chat, get ready. 47.87 could be wick entry buys here. Get ready here. We actually might have something. Holy smokes. 84 pips away. Can we get a pop? Can we get a pop? Can we get a pop? It's going to be right here. Probably like 47.89 zones. Like that no bottom wick zone right there. So get ready. Get ready. Oh, what are my stops going to be again? I didn't even realize today. 2300. I think we could use this actually. 1600. 0.06 should be good. Can we get another pop though? Don't reject yet, gold. You don't want to see any rejections here, right? You want to see it come straight down towards that zone because the idea is a first initial reaction. And then BE is going to be like roughly here, which I think will be roughly 6. Oh, holy, that's kind of far. Maybe here, BE. I think this will be around 30, and then trail stops right after at 60. And then next zone's up here, trail stops. And then we're just continuing trailing. I think TP will be around like 48.06. So you got like 150 pip range there on gold. Yeah, around there. Maybe around here. No. Let's see. Could it flip? If you create, depends on how far the pullback is. If you pull back to like 48.04 now and you don't get the wick entry, then we'll just move the zone further down. I think we'll look for like 47.70 next as the area. But it's gonna be a wick entry buy, right? So get ready. For the first initial move down, can you get a pop through? And one more push. Literally one more push. All right, perfect. So wick entry buys there. BE will be up here I think that would be sitting like maybe 20 pips in profit. Trail stops be right above it, right around there. And then we'll just continue trailing. I think the biggest gap you have is between here and here. So between above like 47.95 should be pretty straightforward. All right, so we got a rejection. Can you break the highs? One more push up. Okay, so that's break even now. You tap the BE zone. Can you continue to reject? Next zone here will be trail stops and profit. Can we survive the flip? All right, trail stops and profit. All right, and that's it. What did we do there? Damn. So like this came like, yeah, that wasn't bad. Like we were like maybe I moved that a little early, but I think it would have been the same result. It would have been BE if we didn't get out there. That was approximately 19 pips. So nothing too crazy there, right? Nothing too crazy there. But first initial reaction, wick entry, because here's the thing. If you were to go down, right, at these zones here, you likely get like reactions at, right? Like there's a reason why I didn't put my TP like all the way up here, because we're looking for the first initial reaction. So as it comes down, you reject, that's like a lower high. It can still come down, right? Next zone will be down here at 47.70. But if it were to just reject there, I mean, it would have just rejected and we would have got a steeper runner, right? But it's not up to us to decide like where it rejects at. We're just looking for that first initial reaction on price. So it's either like all these monitor zones here we had marked up on the way up, right? Like that was like where we're looking to just like target. And then TP max was like I think like 4800, 4805 areas around there. But yeah, well, I'm gonna journal this out. I think we did $10.50 there, which is I think percentage wise first trade of the week. We might get another one too. It's still early in the day, right? Like very early in the day today. So we did $10.50. So I think that's 0.5% or something, 0.4%, right? So 0.4%, or 0.44%. And yeah, we'll see what else we can do today. All right, next ideas could be continuation, right? I think this is a pretty important zone here, 47.85. Like I wouldn't have attempted this entry right here if it wasn't for the way it came down, because like remember, this is the first move down today. Like this is the first set of volume. The first set of volume isn't always the directional volume. Sometimes you can come down first, right? And if you don't, if that's not true, if that's not true behind the idea of like you're missing a topic here before coming down, then we'll see it not be true, right? Because then you'll see it like kind of come down, create more structure, and it continue down. But you have a lot of ranges if you were to go down, right? Especially below 47.53. Below there, you're like clean as day all the way down towards like these zones and whatnot. You know what I mean? So still very early. First set of volume came in. This is the most volume you've had, I think, today, the entire week. So that's very good news. And then next up is just directional, right? Next up is directional. Now you've been stuck between range and liquidity for this entire week, or the last 2 weeks actually. So maybe today could be the start of something different on gold, right? A different market cycle, which is a drive, which is like when things are just pushing. But yeah, that was the trade chat. So I'm gonna journal this out, and then we are going to, what are we gonna do next? Look for more ideas here. All right, so this was 16/4/2026. I didn't think we'll get a trade this early. We were just kind of talking, and the next thing you know, I looked at it and it's like, oh wow, we're like right there. So get ready. All right. 954. New York gold buy today was so we're looking for a topic to continue down. So more so bearish. Normal sells, just liquidity on the one. Wick entry on the 4-hour stops. 1 hour time frame, right? You can say the 1 hour, 1 hour, the 30-minute there. No bottom wick zones, especially right here. We're just looking at this or this. So those two zones. Next logical resistance, trail stops. Yes, we did. Or break even. minutes. We used the minute there. We used the 1530 and I think the 15 as well. I was looking at too. So 1530 and the 1 were the time frames, and the 4 as well. 4 no bottom wick. We were looking for just liquidity, right? Lower high to continue down, or lower a start of a reversal. 0.06 lots. I kind of rushed find the stop loss. I wasn't prepared, but I assume we would have just used like this down here. I was looking at this down here as well. This was down here, but I'm like, I think there's no reason that's why it should come down here, right? If it does, then at that point, you're gonna just, especially when you start closing below here, you're just gonna come straight down. So then that was fine. 1600 pip stop. So there it was. 1050. Pips wise, that was 17.5. Drawdown. Did we have a drawdown? I don't think so, right? Oh no, we did a little bit. I think it was maybe 12 pips drawdown. Max profits, we peaked at, I think 36, right? Wait, we took a wick entry buy now, so we got, I'm tripping, wick entry buy. Drawdown was 18 pips, right? The peak was 29. Okay. It was a buy. 18, and then peak was 29. Exit reasoning, trail stop loss hit on the minute. Scenario would have been, I think, trail stop if we didn't trail stops, or if we did anything else, trail stops. Pips wise, 17.5. Cool. And then over here, 0.4, did that. And then last journal, I know it's a lot, but journaling is like very, very important. So make sure you always journal. It should be the hardest thing to do, most daunting thing to do, but trading should be daunting sometimes. It's not always clean and rainbows and sunshines. Sometimes you're sitting in drawdown. Buys, liquidity, wick entry, 1 hour time from full, and then 17.5. And that just rounds up. Cool. So nothing too crazy. Like we took 4 trades for the month so far. I think percentage wise for the month we're doing like 3.16%. So picking up slowly. Right, conditions has been really slow for the first 2 weeks, but today could be a start of something new. Right, could be a start of some more volume and some good shit. All right, chat. But what you guys got there? What did everybody get there? Whoa. Damn, man. Finna go work at a shawarma shop. Chat, what'd you guys get there? What percentage you guys got there? .57%. Show them the short one. I didn't think it was possible, man. .4%, 0.10. Nice. You got break even. Yeah. I mean, if you didn't trail, you would have got break even. I think I did trail like maybe 3 pips earlier, 4 pips earlier. Like I was looking at trail at 95. If I didn't trail, that would have been just BE. So it wasn't anything crazy. I think it ended up running after, whereas once it broke the lows again, right? And then I think it would have ended up coming near this area here. So let's see. This could still be continuation, right? This is only the first initial area of like first initial reaction zone. So you see how it's just starting to react here? Like that's what I kind of mean by reaction, right? It's gonna figure out what's gonna do. Because from here, it can still come up and correct it, or from here it can just come down. But either way, you'll get like a first initial reaction, right? And that was your first initial reaction after the push. That was the very first tap into that zone there. So next up is like, okay, what's gonna happen now? Are you going to continue down now? Are you gonna start breaking below these areas coming down, or are we going to create more structure, right? It looks like you're starting to break the lows here. So next range is gonna be 47.70, which could be something. Let me just delete all these lines here. We got a lot of stuff going on right now. Wait, Panzer, you have BE? Oh, your enter is slipped. True. All right, let's see what we can do next. Let's see what we can do next here. Still early, 10 a.m. here, 1 hour closed. Bearish, this next one closed. Yeah, this next one opened up pretty nicely with lots of volume here. So can we get a continuation? And I think we'll look for like continuous sells probably below like 47.54. Once it clears through here, between 6.9 and 5.4 could be a little more difficult. But I think once you clear that, or maybe even below 4.7 here, you'd be cleared. Unless you create structure, right? This is the first set of like lower highs here. So still like very early to say. Again, you can still come up and correct again. But if you continue to push down, like this is lower high right here. You continue to push down, lower highs, right? Push down, lower highs. Eventually, it gets to a point where it's like, okay, cool. This is going to be likely directionally bearish, right? But again, this is just keep a reminder that this is the very first move today, and it was a push down after like a 2-day range. So what are the chances that that is going to be the directional push today, right? Because realistically, you haven't really done anything today. You pushed down towards the bottom of the range, right? But you're still within the range. So you haven't really done much yet. So we already got a trade and it hasn't done much yet. Imagine when it actually does much, right? There can be a lot more ideas coming today. But now you have a bottom wick. So if you start breaking, remember earlier where we were like, yo, we can look for buys above 38 for the leg candle fill, but I want to see structure first. Now you have a bit of structure because you came down. Why would it come down? It should go down, right? But now let's say it comes back up above the range. What can happen? Leg candle fill above 38 right here. From 38 up to like 48, 74. Right? And that could be some continuous buys for you. All right, so that won't be too bad too. That might not be bad. First trade in my funded account up 10%. Yo, you telling me one trade gave you 10%? You are fucking going crazy. Balls deep into your trades, man. Chat, if you guys enjoyed that trade though, make sure you hit the like button because we're only at 59 likes. God damn. Cheap ass chat. What the hell? 59 likes. Holy. We have more people entering this trade than the likes here. If you guys could hit the buy and sell button, you guys can hit the like button. What the hell? 59 likes. Damn. Can we get 100? Trade's taken. I gotta put that one. And then record becomes 539, 123.80, buys 0.44. Cool. Cool. Wow, so right off of 85, huh? Yes, we're taking a trade today. We just took one. It could be another one because it's very early in the day still. But we got quite a bit to push. We gotta push down our like at least 370 pips because this is decent of a lower high now too. If you were to come down, or you gotta push up 370 up. So we're just in the middle between the ranges in order to get positions next. Is that the first wick entry buy we had on stream? No, I don't think so. Right? Since we returned, I think we took one more. Wick entry. Yeah, we took a couple since we returned. This is the third one. First one was 99. Second one was 7. This one was 18. Not bad. Thanks, guys. Almost at 100. Why did chat get so quiet after we You guys still in the trade? Holy. Chat went mute the moment we entered. We were just chilling. Pip and dippers. This is why I'm about to go back. Chat, we're about to go back to DVSO 1 in like a couple of weeks anyways. God damn. Yes. Yeah, we're about to go back to DVSO 1 if it keeps this up. Pipping and dipping. Go tomorrow? All right, bet. Tomorrow. Braz, please stop sending signals. Thank you. If you want to send signals, you gotta start your own stream, man. Gotta stop LARPing. Too many LARPers over the years over here, man. God damn. Trying to get your opinion. Oh, you can just ask, bro. But it doesn't seem like you asking for an opinion. You're just saying stuff, you know. So okay, I don't know. You can just ask though. Consolidation before going down, I think. Potentially, if you break below 85, then you got continuation, right? But chat, try it. I think like maybe like when you approach the markets, like try not to like approach it with like a target in mind. Like approach it with like what's next. It like because this is what really helped me. Like going from like, oh, I think we can come down towards this level still. Like get rid of that mindset. Like that's that like, I don't know. But instead of looking at it from that perspective, be like, hey, what's next here? You just had a drive. What's next? A range. After a range, what do you have next? Liquidity. But you see how when you're looking for those concepts, you're not like seeing a target in mind, right? Because then what is next really? Like you had a drive, right? On a small time frame, you had a range. And now this is liquidity. You broke out. Could this be continuation down? Yes, right? And if it does, once you establish like what part of the range is next or what part of the cycle is next, then you can then establish like targets, right? If you break back to the range here, you can probably come down towards the bottom of the range, right? Towards like 47.89, but one thing at a time, right? Or maybe this can still be a higher low to re-break the highs and then you can come up, right? This is the range. This could be liquidity down for all I know to continue back up, right? But instead of like trying to give like target ideas out before you or assume target areas before price even does anything, it's just think about it from like a market cycle point of view. If you just had a drive, you just had a range, next is liquidity, and then start hunting. But it's a little more like I think it's just like a lot more predictable that way for what you're looking for. Like that took me like maybe like 6 years to understand maybe. Don't get me wrong, right? Like that wasn't like the deal breaker, but that it just makes you feel like less pressured to be looking for trades all the time or hunting all the time. Because not every situation is a huntable situation. Like not every candle can lead to a trade here, right? Sometimes candles lead to like this move that came down. Say we're looking at that as like volume, like the first step into what can happen today. Because overall, if you look at it from a 30, right, you're still within the ranges. So like if you had like somewhat of a drive here, you had a range here, what's next? Liquidity. So you're gonna have to break below here, or you're gonna have to break above here before deciding what's next. All right, but you still rejected the area. So realistically, if you come back up, even if you come back up, you're still within the ranges. You might have some liquidity or small time frame movements like the minute, right? But higher time frame, you're still sitting within the same area, even if you were to continue back up now to the top of the range, right? It's still like within the same area. And if you get something like this, okay, cool, right? Let's say you get the leg candle fill, and afterwards you come back to the range. Now it's like, okay, cool. Is this gonna be the actual move now? Is this the movement as to compared to like whatever just happened on a small time frame, right? Like this is like very minor so far. I'm gonna get some water. What are you looking for gold right now? Walk me through your technical analysis. But literally, I want to see if, man, all right, I'm going to re-explain it all again today. This is what I'm looking for, right? Same thing I'm looking for this morning as well. We're trying to figure out, right? We're trying to figure out if we're going to create more structure to continue down. One of the main reasons today was we rejected the middle of nowhere yesterday and prior. You didn't fill the range. It literally rejected the middle of nowhere. It was like in between the ranges, which means that there's still a very high chance that that could get filled. Right? Like let's go back to trading view real quick. Let's go back to here. So you look at this, you can even flip it. Right? This is the bottom of the range on gold, or top of the range before we flipped it, right? Look how you rejected the same exact thing that happened like 2-3 weeks ago when we were in that 30-hour trade, right? It's same concept behind the idea that you are in the you rejected the middle of nowhere. So overall, like don't think about prices, don't think about pips, don't think about any of that. Look at just price alone. Overall, if you were to continue up, like generic price action, if you were to continue down in this case, right, up when I flip it, what would need to occur, right? Like you wouldn't just like, there's a small chance it could happen, right? But it's very rare where you just kind of like shoot like this after rejecting the middle of nowhere. And usually you'll get something like this first, bottom wick, right? And some people might say, oh, that's like liquidity, right? That could also be your liquidity. Right, but if you look at like the way you're kind of coming up the last couple of weeks, it was very slow, right? These pushes here aren't that directional compared to like this push here. This is still the more dominant push. So which means that direction can still follow. You can still correct that move following this major push here, because if you look at it from like here, you look at it from like here coming down, right? This can just be a lower high to continue back down to retest the lows. Right, that's still an idea. But before you get that, on it, like you zoom in a little bit, right? What can happen? Like you can still get a top wick within like 48.94 zones, and that's what's missing. So the reason why I'm not sold yet on the ideas that we can come down is because of that reasoning. That doesn't mean like you have to do all of this, right, before going the opposite direction. It doesn't have to do that, because then we can find a way around that. If prices decide to take off, it has, it can do whatever it wants to do. If it just takes off, let me just flip it now. If it decides to just take off and continue to push, then it continues to push. But either way, even if it does continue to push here, we still need something to get around the idea that this is still required for a top wick. You still need like, for instance, a top wick or something. So what you might get is candles start to pull back, create lower highs, right? Like once you establish that, and then for some reason you continue to push down, right? Because if you establish a lower high, every chance you make a lower high coming down now should be, oh, this should come back up. But let's say it doesn't come back up. Let's say now you start to come back down and re-break the lows. right? Cool. What do you have now? You have more structure. So then you can get around the idea that you may still need a top wick up here, right? You may get, you could use that now, this lower high here, as a confirmation to say, okay, maybe this was enough today, or maybe that was enough this week to continue driving down. But we won't really know until either you drive down and create structure, or until you actually come up towards 48.84 and then you come back down, right? Does that make sense? So the ideas evolve around the fact that you came down from the middle of nowhere, right? So at default, what you'll be looking for automatically, or like first assumption, first idea that comes to my head, is that you'll get this before coming down, right? But that doesn't need to happen. And if that doesn't happen, we can find a way around that. It's just that you haven't had a strong enough push yet to even get around that, right? It was only the very first pop of the day today. You're still within this range here. Nothing has really happened yet. So until you actually start breaking below that area, right? Let's say you come down like this and then you pull back and then you start to create like, you know, a little bit of structure on the smaller time from here, right? All of a sudden you start to come back down and re-break the lows. Like, there you go. There's your move, because then now you're breaking back into this range here, and then you can look for sells all day long, right? But like, we're at the very early stages still, like very early stages. So it's like when you're talking about sells, like it's not that I don't see it. It's like I see the sells happening, but we don't know whether we're gonna come down now or after you get more structure, and that could be up for 48.94. So when you say, oh, only sells can happen, it's not that it's invalid, right? It's just that we could also still get a push up. That doesn't mean we're bullish necessarily. It just means that that could be the next part of the cycle, which is the liquidity stage before coming down for the drive stage, which could be your sells, right? Or maybe from where you are right now, this might be the drive stage, right? We might be starting to push, but we'll figure that out too. Price will show us that it will continue to push if it breaks through and creates all that structure. So like, we're not like assuming or like guessing any of these outcomes. We're just drawing out the probabilities of what can happen. And then it comes down to what price prints, right? If price prints to move up towards 48.95, 94, we'll be aware that, okay, cool, this could be a lower high in order to go down. And if it's not a lower high to go down, it can also still be what? It can also still be structure, right? If you come up and then you start noticing that like you're starting to create structure, especially above these ranges, like higher lows on the way up, then you just continue up. It might not even come back down. This might be bullish, right? But then how you can tell whether this will be more directional or not is you base it off the last 2 weeks, right? The last 2 weeks has been very slow to go up. You'll start hearing me, like I've been repeating the same shit for the last 2 weeks for a reason, right? It's like, it's been very slow to go up. So if all of a sudden we start breaking above 48.94, above that zone, but then we start seeing these candles starting to like push a lot heavier. It's not like if you go on the small time frame, you'll see like maybe, you know, you'll see like these weak moves going up. It's like weak drives, pullback range, weak drives, like really struggle, especially here. But all of a sudden, let's say you get a 1-2 pop now. 1, 2, like within a 15-minute time span, these two candles like that. That's a huge difference. That's the most direction you've had on price in the last 2 weeks. And that could change things, right? Because it comes down to how you also come up towards 48.94. You can also, that's a whole other analysis too, right? But that's the analysis. Like that's what we've been kind of like, or I've been kind of like repeating the last 2 weeks, because that's the stage we're at with price, right? Like that's kind of where we're sitting, and how price has been setting up for the next push, right? But look, even on a small time frame right now, like this is still very early. You had this push here, and all of a sudden now you're just kind of ranging. So then if you do get continuation, right? Because this is not bad. This is still a lower high here. That's still good. If you do get continuation, we'll see it. But I won't be part of this push here. 47.85 to 47.53. I'm not really, I don't think we're going to have anything there unless you do get a steeper higher, right? Because I need more structure. But below 47.53, I think that's when I'm going to start looking for more like directional sell positions. There could still even be a position where we can get a wick entry buy again down here at 47.53 based on of how high the top wick is. But yeah, that, and also buys above 48.38, because above there leg candle fill, and that leg candle fill is this, and that could take you up towards like 48.92. Because if you fill this candle, how much range you got above is high? You got like maybe like 190 pips, right? You move 190 pips, that's your tap into 48.92. So yeah, that's what we're like looking for. And the reason why we got that position earlier was only because that was the first move of the day. If that wasn't the first move of the day and that was the second, like let's say today you came up like this and then you came down, it wouldn't have been the same position. I wouldn't have taken it, because then I would have seen this move coming down as a little more directionally bearish. Right? So there's a lot going on, but to keep things simple, buys above 48.38 as of right now, and then sells below 47.53. But I'll give you like an overall look. What did you just make, Pencil? What is that? Ah, man. But if you like really pay attention on the stream, like you actually pay attention throughout the last like month, or a month has been too short actually. I haven't had enough like live examples. But over the next like 3-4 months, like, you'll start to get a much better like workflow, or my workflow, better understand my workflow. Because there are some days where we even push like thousands of pips and we're not like really looking for anything, or we might not be getting exactly what we want. But there's a reasoning. This could be seen as a 30-minute leg candle too right here. So this is a 30-minute leg candle. Could that be filled? Sure, some people might be asking like all of that for 17 pips, like all that analysis just for like, you know, a small trade, they'll say. Should I rather do all of that for a small trade than not do all of that and then take a trade, right? Because then it's just like a lot less probable. What's next? 30-minute closure, closed, weak bullish. Yeah, so there's a higher chance you can get a bottom wick here. It's a very weak candle. I think it's still holding like the previous ranges. You can probably mark up something between here and here and say it's holding that zone. So until it actually breaks above 16, very important. And then maybe ideas above 26 could be possible. We can get a head start to the leg candle fill instead of above 38. Could be above 48.23. Above that zone, you have like 150 pips above that area. Wow, the session passed by so quick. It's already 10:35. I think we can still get I think we still have a major move in store today, or a much bigger move than the one earlier. Do. What else do we got? Was there any news today? 43 minutes ago. Yeah, 950. Give us a quick good analysis. Man, I just gave one. Now you guys want it quicker? I just gave an analysis that was like, I just broke it down. I just broke it down. I think the only words that you guys want to hear is just buy or sell, right? Where? Ooh, leg candle. Can we get filled? 84 pips there for the leg candle fill. What's up, Carl? All right. We got some movement here, guys. $74 pip range. Right? Yep. Aces pip range. So let's see. If you can re-break this low, things will get a bit more interesting today at 85. Spreads are pretty tight too, so could be glitch. Could be. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Starting to glitch. Can't glitch like crazy. Okay, cool. So is it gonna make its way below into 5-3? I think it came down towards this no bottom wick zone right here, right? 70 came near it. So now can it come down below 47? Or if you continue to get more structure below 85, there could be ideas for us within below 6.3 to like 4.7, right? If you get like the same type of lower highs being created the way down again, but this could still be bottom wick to come back up, right? So let's see, lower highs, is it gonna re-break its low again? How much is this lower high? This is 112 pips for a pullback after the push down. So can that continue? Can that continue, everybody? Fuck, I'm mudded. You said what would be my stops? I think I have a better answer below 4769. I have a better answer below there. If you start making way below there, I think it's not. I think or if we get ideals, it'll be below like probably 5.9 or 5.6. I'm assuming it'll be somewhere here, but I'm gonna have a better answer if it makes its way below 6.9, because then you have more structure, right? Yeah, I was just saying just now when I was muted. If this came down to create a steeper low, we can now maybe even get an earlier start. Instead of above 23, 24, we can maybe even get a 19. I was looking at here earlier too at 805, but that could be a 1 hour leg candle. So that can be a leg candle on a closure, because you only have 15 minutes left, right? So if this 15 minute decides to flip bullish like this, it's gonna look like that. So then it's a leg candle. You want to be part of that for a new candle. You don't want to be part of that for a new candle, but above like 19, right? Because this made a steeper low now. It's like that should have taken you down. Like these pushes should take you down. But why isn't it? For some reason it doesn't. As you start to make your way back up, you can get a correction of the move, and then this is just your liquidity, right? It's still the first move of the day. So very key, very important information that we're getting right now. That push is very important. You're gonna enter trades? Curious? We took one already. We're waiting for a second one though. So yeah, there could be one. Maybe between now and 11:20, 11:15. If only I can get paid to watch paint dry. Hey man, you can start a channel and get paid to do whatever you want to do. It's all possible. Or you can trade the range. And get paid to watch paint dry. You know what I mean? Chat, we're one like away from 100. Can we get 100? 100? Viet pop music? I only know a couple songs. Viet pop. W Viet. W to my Viets in the chat. My Vietnamese. That candle in the minute, forming again. Let's see. So look, this is what you kind of have here, right? In simple terms, this is the movement that you're getting. Boom, 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 boom. So look at it. It's starting to slow down. But it's like, look how many times you came down to break the lows and you didn't drive. Right? 3 times so far. So it's still a little early, but if you can break above this yellow zone here, you can probably push up. And then that'll be closer to our ideas at 48.19. All right, so above there. Above 48.06. If you break above 48.06, then you can probably come up towards 48.19. And then above 48.19 could be the ideas. Last 5 leg candle. No, not this one. Sometimes people get confused with that leg candle. That's just like a weak bearish with the wick fill. I think this is a leg candle right here in the minute. It's getting fillable right now. But the 5 is like just if that was bullish, yeah. If that was like maybe like this, that'll be a leg candle. The beauty behind the leg candle is that you can, if something has a huge wick, you can always treat it like one because you're just waiting for the structure, right? That's the entire idea of a leg candle. So if you decide to like come down and then just stay below, yeah, eventually you'll get the fill, right? Because you're waiting for that same leg candle movement to form. So sometimes it don't even look like one, but you can treat one as if it was a leg candle. All right, we have 9 minutes now. Can we get a flip? The earlier we flip here on a 30, the sooner you can make your way up above 20. So could that happen? Let me pull up to 4820 to get confirmation, direction, and structure. Yeah, like based on how it comes up. Yeah, because you have this right now. So if you were to come up and break above 4805, right, for the third time now, you should be able to give you it should be able to give you a pop towards 4820. But that won't be enough for me to take a buy because then this can still be a fake out, right? This can still come back down for a range. But if you're able to clear through this range right here, and then you clear this range, above 4820 should be clean traffic up towards 4838 because you have a 4-hour leg candle right here still. So if we can get a runner based off of that, that'd be sweet. But basically, yeah, once the 4-hour flips bullish above there should be like, yeah, continuations up above that range there. What's the 4-hour flip at? Break of the highs of 24, and we have 21 or 19. Yeah. So we can even use 19 and 24 as an advantage point. And then continuation for sells below. I think below here would be good now. Below within this range between 47.60 down towards like 47.47. Below there could be sells for us if you get continuations down. But I think in between this area right now is just kind of dead for us. 1 hour is closing very nicely here, though. It's gonna be a strong bearish closure. The huge wick fell down in 5 minutes. This 47.87 seems like a solid floor. No, I think it's very weak. But if it breaks above 48.19, then yeah, that would be a solid floor. But like from looking at it here, it's very weak. It's nothing too major. You just had this over here, right? But I think your major zone today could maybe be the next major zone could be within this area between 6.9 and 4.7. I think you struggled here more compared to here. How you control not to react to sudden big moves in the market? Well, you plan for it, right? So like once I plan for it, it's like it's literally like black and white. It's like if I get that exact particular move that I planned for, so whatever I mentioned this morning, right? I'm still looking for the same things. If I get exactly those things, they line up. Cause then like I'm not here like reacting to price, right? I'm reacting to like the situations. Like these are the scenarios I can play out today. So if they line up with the markets, I'm in there. But all the other ideas, if it doesn't form exactly what I wanted or doesn't form what I anticipated, then it's not my business. I just kind of watch it drive. Like it's just like you can't just plan it out. This planning out is very important. And not like planning on a spot, right? Like plan out ahead of the session. Like throughout the session, things change. But for the most part, like the general ideas are there still. And sometimes these ideas can go on for weeks. Like we still have the same ideas the last 2 weeks here for the sells. And then the other thing is what we kind of mentioned earlier, like paying attention to market cycles and not like targets, right? Like when I'm looking at price here, I'm not thinking like, oh, we can come down towards here at this price point, or we can come up towards that price point. It's like, how if we go down or up, doesn't matter. Get rid of the bias. How is it gonna go up? How is it gonna go down? And then that opens up a lot more ideas for your mind to work off of. But you gotta just like, paint the picture. Like know what you're looking for ahead of time. Not like know the markets, right? I think a lot of traders think that you need to know the markets to trade. Like you need to know what you're looking for, and then let the markets come to you. But when you chase the markets, like you're trying to chase every move, you think every movement is like it leads to a position. You just have a bunch of scrambled ideas in your mind. And you're not taking like the most. You're not gonna be taking the most probable one. You're just taking something just to take something. This is a nice 1 hour closure right here that just closed. So let's see. Can it continue below 6.9? Can we make our way below that zone? The market is so teasing that it like given direction, but then it will go in other direction. Yeah, that's your drive range liquidity, right? You're always gonna get drives, range, and then after that liquidity. So either this to go up, this to go down, like, but you have to understand what part of the cycle you're in. Like, are you today's conditions, are you in this range? Are you in this part of the cycle, the liquidity cycle? Are you in the drive part of the liquidity cycle? Because then once you figure that out, it leads to X amount of plays, right? If you're in the liquidity cycle, there's a higher chance you can probably get wick entry buys or wick entry sells, because that's what we did today, right? We're in like the range slash liquidity. So the first break below the range, we're okay with taking a wick entry buy here. Some could say it's a catching a falling knife, but it's the very first move. Catching a falling knife is if we were to take a buy here when it's already directional, right? But when it's the first move, there's a high chance you'll get a lower high before going down, or you'll get a fake out to go up. In that case, you get a runner for that wick entry buy. So yeah, you gotta just understand like what part of the cycle you're in. But the market's not like trying to like trick you or like trying to manipulate you, right? It's not coming after your stops and all of that. It's just moving how it's supposed to be moving, and you're just trying to catch your piece of the pie. But some people make their piece of the pie. Like, some people are too greedy. They want the entire pie, right? And then they set expectations for themselves to catch X amount of pips, and then that's when they get disappointed, and then that's when your emotions come out. But it is easy to see what period we are in afterwards, but in the moment there is much trap. Well, what's the trap? Right now we're in a range cycle leading to liquidity cycle. What do you mean? Man, apple pie, mama. Sells on breaker lows after the top. Wait, I don't have that J. I do not have ideas there. I have ideas below 68, so if it breaks the lows there, I'm gonna have to watch it just drive through. But below 68, I got ideas. Below, more so 60, probably 60 to 47. But I'm not gonna really, I have nothing here. Just gonna watch it drive. Unless you create like some type of structure up here. If you come up towards like 13 or something and then you come down, different story. Because then this is your range, right? And then you have a pop up, and then you have a pop back to the range. That's your fake out. And then below 85 could be continuation of sells. So this could be setting up for a further move tilt, chat, right? This can also be set up for a further continuation down. This can still be a lower high territory. But that's why we wanted to see above 19, because that's your continuation. You'll be able to break through this range. You have this range here, then you break through this range. Above here should be continuations up towards 38. That leads to the 4-hour leg candle. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Yeah, we do take less trades now. We do. We do. I just took and I have this light on today. Hold on, how's it look without this light on? Chat, light on or light off? I think there's light on. There's light off. This might be better. All right. Pushing up strongly too. So now you want to pay attention to the way it comes up, right? Like this move coming down, don't get me wrong, was strong. It was pretty strong. But let's see if this can beat that. Let's see if that texture is a little better in the way up. You got some support here too, so let's see. Can you come up towards 19? 85 broke, so generic price action should take you up here towards 19. Like general idea is what I mean, right? Like first general idea, you break the highs for the third time, that should take you up. But if it doesn't, now we have ideas below here too. So that will be enough now of a lower high for continuation below 85. You have a leg candle on the 1 hour time frame right here. Oh, no, that's not a leg candle. I'm tripping. That's not a leg candle. That is just a 4 hour flip. Yeah. Yeah, I think a bigger move will be coming. Like a bigger move than like what you had earlier today. I don't think that move earlier was anything too spectacular. I think it was just the first set of volume that came in. And now it's a matter of continuation, right? So once you get continuation, it'll be a lot more like easy to read on price. I feel it coming. I feel it coming. What happened to the dark background? I don't know. You guys didn't like it. Chat didn't like it. Chat still was too dark. $11.45. Chill. 11.45. Chat, I'm gonna use the R. Give me like 1 second. All right. All right. So it looks like you're pushing up here. Yeah, broke above 06. 60 pip pop above that area. You're now like kind of back into this territory, so that's good. Now, can you break above 19? All right, so when we look for the continuations, I think it's also the 4-hour flip. But I think what we'll do is we'll let price break into that range there first and then pull back and hold 19. And if we can pull back and hold 19, then we can get continuation to fill the range here, because that's the idea, right? To go up towards 38. But there's no promises to go up, right? This could still be a lower high to continue down. And if it does come back below 85, we can now look for sells below 85 now, because then now this is enough of like a top wick, right? We don't know if it's going to come back down from here. We don't know if it's going to come up to tap into 19 and hold, right? But what we do know is that this is a range, and this is the first break outside of that range after that push we had from earlier. So if you were to come back into the range here, what part of the cycle are we in now? On the small time, on the 15 here, on the 5 here, if you were to come back down, then your next is, this is your liquidity cycle that leads to directional. So then if you break below 85, you should get more direction down towards 68. Right, so instead of taking sells below 60, we get a head start in that too. But now it's like more set up for us to get the ideas for the buys and the ideas for the sells, because you have the bottom wick ready to go up, and now you can have a potentially top wick to go down. So this is like your prime time trading, your prime market structure trading. This is like really clean. What do you guys rate today? I think I'm gonna give it 5.5 today again. Maybe it could be a 6. But I think I'll give it 5.5 again. We only had one idea today. 5.5 out of 10, same as yesterday. I don't know, this is luck. I'm so happy to say, to bag 200 pips of sell. Well, it wasn't luck if you planned for it, right? If you plan for it, then you can do the same thing next week again. You don't gotta stress about next week, because you can just repeat the same. Even if you can't repeat the same pips, you can repeat the same interactions with the market. So market does this, you do that. Market does BCD, you do ABC or whatever. Like, you know, market gives you 1 + 2, you take your 3 or whatever it is. Like the market prints this way, you look at it from that perspective. It prints this, you look at it from that perspective. So don't focus on like the amount of money it gave you, because that's irrelevant. But focus on like the movement, right? If you see the same thing and do the same thing next week. So don't stress about next week. $114 likes, thank you. If you get 120, that'll be sweet. I think we'll be here. Oh man, the session like just started again too, but yeah, let's see. I think we'll place the session stop loss soon, very soon. I want to see what this 1 hour does in the opening. Did you ever look at tick charts? No, just candles. I used to look at Hikanashi candles, but not anymore. Rental dog soon. Huh? Tomorrow's Friday. Last day of the week tomorrow. Halfway into the month. Damn. Tomorrow be a big day. You feel it? You think so? Let's see. If we start to break below 9-3, gets pretty interesting here again. I think that's gonna be 100 pips to go, and then below 85, your continuation. Because then look, now you have enough of like structure, right? Like if, where is it? If like you had initial highs there, so we're looking to see if we can come back up there, but then you had highs, lower highs here, more lower highs, right? It just adds on to the idea that it's a little tougher now to fill that range. Still possible, but a little tougher, so increases the odds to continue below 85. $500 on black. Peace out, Reggie. Yo, we've been staying mad late here though for the session, and we used to hop off at like 11 flat. Good morning. Good afternoon. Depends with that leg candle, man. Doesn't even look like a leg candle. It looks like a Teletubby, bro. Hello. I think we'll give it until 11:30, another 7 minutes, and then we'll see if it picks up or not. And then we'll go from there. I think you two guys are scaring the chat away, man. All right, man. 5 more minutes, and then we'll see what else we can do. We will see what else there is. Exactly, Eddie. This is why we gotta go back to Devious 01 very shortly. Strange these two, honestly. I don't know. How does it feel to be the life of a Pip and Dipper? Or not Pip and Dipper, my bad. Like a stream hopper. Like just like hunting for constant trades. Like, I understand that people don't have the time to some people don't got the time to sit around and wait for trades all day, right? That's different though. I'm talking about the people who are like hopping stream to stream looking for a trade constant. Like, bro, at what point are you gonna like wake the fuck up and look for something yourself? You know? At what point are you gonna start like looking at yourself in the mirror and being like, maybe I should do something about me? At what point? All right, Pencil. Put the fries in the bed, man. Put the bag in the fries. What's that line by Ken Carson? Give you a book on how to get rich and you ain't even read it. Yeah. Give you a book on how to get rich and you ain't read it. Should I drop a like too? I think so. Yeah, 1 minute here, guys. Let's see, 10:30 approaching. So I think 11:30 approaching. We'll I think we'll place a session stop loss right here. Above 48.13. I think if it didn't come up on that move, if it does come up again, we still need to wait for structure. So that might take a little long, right? But if you come down below 85, then you don't really need much structure, right? Because in this entire move up, this entire pullback was your liquidity to get your continuation, right? Is it possible movement to sell in long? No. What do you mean? Like, is it possible to sell if you're in long? I mean, sells done at 47.88. Where should I put my stops? 47.88. Wow, you're already in. I think the sells for if we were to have sells below 85, I would have been using like above 49.05. All right, I'm gonna move this session stop loss to 48.06 here. I'll drag it down towards the current high, because I think you flipped, right? Or you came near flipping, but if you re-break the highs, then you're gonna fill this wick up. And then you gotta slow down still and create structure above 19. But if you flip bearish from here, then all it takes is just one push. Doesn't require much. How long did that trade last earlier? Like a minute? 43 seconds. Not bad. 3-hour stream, 43-second trade chat. I'll take it. You got a 30-minute flipper. Let's see. Can we flip and get a pop? Do you think price can still move back between 48.91, 48.88? I don't know what you call that bearish candlestick that forms in current market structure. You think it can still come up towards 48.91, 48.88? I think if you break above 48.06, you can probably fill this wick up here at 48.13. And then you have to kind of like come up above 19 and hold that structure in order to go up towards 38, which is, I'll say, the toughest part to do. But once you clear that, it should fill 38. And you're talking about 91, that's the leg candle fill. So above 38, you have the leg candle fill in the 4, which takes you up towards 48.70. And then you're hoping that above 48.70, once it fills the leg candle, you have that extra room, which can be the top wick. Yeah, I think once you make your way above like 48.70, you have a better answer for that. But there's a lot of break here still. That's why you gotta break 06, and then you gotta break 19, and then 19 you gotta break 38. So that's a lot. Like, it requires a lot. But let's see. Can you get a push? Maybe we'll get a second trade. I'm gonna get some more water, chat. Hold on. All right. I think that's it, guys. Tap into 48.06. So that was our session stop loss. Next zone, if it comes up, is gonna be 48.19, and I think originally that's where we wanted ideas at. But you still gotta come up and then create structure, and if you can hold 19, your ideas could be from 19 to 38. All right, but I think that is it for me for the session. So chat, I'll see y'all tomorrow for the last day of the week. Tomorrow is a no news day, but today looks like it could sell for tomorrow to push, maybe. Let's see, actually. Daily. in the same ranges for... The good thing I'll say is that you broke outside of this. So that's good. So who knows? Maybe you might spend some time in this range for the rest of the session. You might come up towards these areas, and then tomorrow could be continuation back down. We'll find out tomorrow though. All right, everybody. Have a good day, everybody. See you guys tomorrow. If you guys enjoyed the stream, leave a like, sub to the channel, and yeah, we'll be here tomorrow. Peace out, everybody. Later.